Welcome back to the iconic series of the Payal Nanjiani Leadership Podcast, where I go one on one with some of the world's best thought leaders and corporate executives. And joining us today on this podcast in the studio is none other than Aparna Kumar, who is the Chief Information Officer, the CIO at State Bank of India. And she is responsible for software development across various business units of the bank. Earlier, Aparna worked in leadership roles with large IT consulting and MNC organizations with a demonstrated track record of leading global teams to deliver revolutionary IT solutions. Aparna is a customer-focused visionary and highly experienced in her field. And she joins us here today on the Payal Nanjiani Leadership Podcast to talk about Take Your People Along. Aparna, welcome to the podcast. It is such an honor to have someone like you be with us here today.
Well, thank you so much. It's absolutely my pleasure to be part of this series and most importantly, to be connected with you because I think you are doing a wonderful job and it's a brilliant idea to share with the world, some of the leaders, thought leaders, what their journeys are and how they have coped with the challenges and how they have taken people along. So I think it's a brilliant concept. You have done it. So thank you once again for having me on the show.
Thank you. And the honor is completely ours. And, you and I were talking earlier, and I have also read so much about you. From a young girl with an aspiration to secure a job, to being a mother of twins, and now, getting also into a global leader in the world of banking, you have 3 decades of long professional journey. And I know I have not even read half of your bio. So I'm sure our listeners would love to hear more about your journey and how did you manage it all and put it all together?
Yes, I have to go down the memory lane, Payal, because as very correctly you mentioned, girl from a small town, and I had only an ambition to work, okay, because I had seen my aunts, I had seen my granny who really wanted us to stand on our feet. So she was a very, very progressive lady. So all my aunts, because I was staying with them, they were working, either someone a prof in a college or somebody was in a bank or somebody was a school teacher. And so it just excited me, seeing them that every day with the same passion, they used to go and be back home and, absolutely fine. Yeah, there were reasons for them to be at times definitely frustration, but I think their individuality was related to that work that they were doing it. So when I grew up, I was the first one to get into corporate. And that was purely with the support of my granny. And then the journey started. And where I joined, actually, Payal, you would be amazed, 3+ decades back, that organization was run by our first finance minister's daughter. Okay, a huge organization. And she was known as a absolutely tough taskmaster and a no-nonsense lady. Very, very thorough professional, but a thought leader at that point in time. So I was privileged to work there. And after that, honestly, nothing was planned. I just got the opportunity, sheer opportunity by grace of somebody up there in the universe was really helping me to move forward. But this journey had a lot of roller coaster ride. It had a lot of hiccups, a lot of challenges, somewhere down the line, which got converted into opportunities. So I was started there in a small town, and then after a couple of years, moving around with my husband within India, 2+ decades back, we moved to Mumbai. And that is where the journey of a very different kind started. The hustle bustle started. The fast pace, the so-called rat race started. Every day morning, get up and just run around, get your kids ready and move and be on time. And I was brought up as a very disciplined kid. So for me to be not on time was a very, very big no. And to start your day like that was absolutely a really a bad option for me. So with that, used to and when twins were born, my customer said that I was part of one of the large organization, and that it was another financial institution in US, and that individual wanted me to be on the calls and wanted me to come back to work after just 4 months of my pregnancy.
Wow. Okay.
And it was very tough. It was a very turmoiled situation for me because I had to leave my sons in the hands of unknown people, and I didn't know how to manage. And
Mhm.
trust me, I used to cry every day.
Oh my goodness.
But I didn't want to leave my job. I
Uh-huh.
didn't want to leave my job. I wanted to work.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And there, my spouse, my husband, came into the picture. He said, "Look, it's our responsibility to bring up kids, right? And it is your ambition that you want to work, right?
Mhm.
So let's do it." I'm saying, whatever comes our way, let's take each day as it comes and we move forward with that.
Mhm.
So that's how it began. And in during that time, I was a little bit lucky also that the organization gave me after that a less stressful job so that I could come back on time. Otherwise, the job was almost 14, 15, 16 hours. And there was nobody back home except, the support staff that you had. For, was fortunate to have some good people around, but still,
Mhm.
you were not there. You didn't have any family member out there.
Uh-huh.
And from there on, I think those challenges multiplied because kids grow, they fall sick. You also have your own issues and a lot of challenges. And I don't think I look back, but each day just became stronger and moved forward because now that aspiration of just doing the work had got transformed into achieving something. Okay, because you had tasted that blood, right? That you see
Mhm.
people are all, you're also working hard and you're
Yes.
seeing people are all there. Okay, why not? I also should do that.
Uh-huh.
That went on for a decade actually. And then I realized, what am I doing?
Mhm.
Is this what I want? And then the opportunities were coming on their own because in the industry, you were known as a person who believes in thorough commitment, gives more than 500%, is very, very candid, very honest. Customers like that. Quite radical in thinking, is also trying to do a lot of I was fortunate to be part of the institution where digital journey started. So
Mhm.
these things then kept me going. I was not trained into any of these things. It was on the job learning and you had to perform along with that. And definitely had, I was pretty lucky in some part of my organization, few of the organizations where I had excellent team members. They were as passionate for work as I was. And there have been times when we used to work for 15 days continuously till 3 4 in the night, and all
Mhm.
Saturday, Sundays and everything. And I used to on Sunday, since I had um, kids at home, I had a cook at home. So every Saturday, Sunday, I would take some breakfast cooked from home for these guys because they had slogged the whole night. uh,
Mhm.
and then feed them well, have some chat, and then they will go back, freshen up and come back again. I
Okay.
think those are very fond memories with the people, how you connect with them on that, but
Yeah.
without compromising on your commitment. So
True.
that was something which I never went haywire. So yeah, nothing was planned, pal. In short,
Wow.
it has just come my way.
I think that's a great overview, Aparna. And I think that's so much of inspiration in what you said because most of us we usually would say, or I hear people say, oh, my dad or my mom helped me. Your grandmother helped you, and I think that is such an inspiration to see that okay, it's my grandmother whom we saw, and we very rarely do I hear this. And Second, when you mentioned about discipline, I'll tell you, discipline is a huge, huge part of my life. That's how I have been brought up. In a family that where coming late or going late is really not that acceptable, and I think that just becomes ingrained in you after these practices that you keep making it as a ritual in your daily life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Now, Aparna, you spoke about somebody, I guess, who you said is a no-nonsense boss. And you are also famously known as a no-nonsense boss. So, how, tell us what brought you this title. What is it that you're doing with your teams and the organization that you got this title too?
See, it's those values which are inculcated, as you mentioned, right? Like discipline, it becomes part of your DNA.
Mm,
Similarly, it was part of my DNA to not allow your personal and professional life to get mixed up. Yeah, you keep that separate always.
mm,
So that was the first thing which I used to ensure. If I'm at work, I'm at work. Okay, period. Nothing at that point in time, unless you have an exigency. So that's a very, very different. So that was first principle which I was following it. The second was that, never compromise on what you believe in. So stand by it,
mm,
right? The situation may change, but with the same standing, can you give different options? But don't lose out onto what you believe in.
mm,
Stay put. Yeah. Now, what happens in that scenario is that at times you take up the battles which you are not supposed to take up to fight, right? But then that's how you are. So that is where people start believing in you, Parth.
mm,
They firmly believe that she's the one who's standing and taking a stand, is right there with them,
mm.
in front, behind, protecting them. So let's see what she says.
Mm.
Yeah, and how she does it.
And that trust
Then
is established.
the trust is established, and that confidence is established that whatever she's saying, she's going to ensure that we all collectively do that.
Mm,
Uh, then it has been, the second is I always create a boundary, which only I know. I don't allow anybody to cross that.
mm,
So if you are even going to pass some kind of a remark which I don't uh, accept, or I was not envisaging, or I didn't like it,
mhm,
I will just give it back there. That,
mm.
this is something I don't appreciate. Yeah, let's just stop it and not repeat it.
I think that's so
Okay,
important because a lot of
that's okay.
us we in the flow of wanting to be liked as a manager, like wanting to be liked as a boss or a leader, we tend to do so many things which we are not comfortable with, and like you said, the boundaries are around you, which and you would not let anyone cross those boundaries, and that means you're not impacted by whether somebody likes you or not. Then.
Absolutely. And that is where I was not liked by most of the people while working.
Hmm.
But the moment they moved out, or I moved out, they realized what I was asking them, what I
Yeah.
was making them do, because it was such a brilliant thing for them to say that somebody in such tough scenarios in the corporate is able to take a stand
Mm,
and stand by it. It was not easy, to at times to fight some of these battles out there. uh,
right.
and let me tell you, there have been instances where I was considered as one of the person who would be always dressing up well, for example. So I'll get compliments.
That's nice.
Okay,
Yeah.
which are very different, because that's fine. Your colleagues are saying you're looking gorgeous,
Mhm,
whosoever. I'm not getting into gender at all.
mhm.
So that's fine. But you know what they are saying and how they are saying, right? We
Yes,
women
the
have that.
how. The how is very important. You're right.
Very important. Yeah.
Mm,
So somebody patting your back, and you know what that pat is, right?
absolutely. Yes.
So yeah. So I knew very well, and so people, they would dare not do something which they knew they will get it back very badly, and I will not even blink my eye to tell them that just stay put, just back off.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful
Yeah.
thing. Like you've said that, it's not only about as a leader wanting to be liked and wanting to fit in. Your journey, from what I am hearing right now, Aparna, is you never tried to fit in. You did what was right and what currently is
Yes.
right. And people are later on realizing. In fact, I have so many leaders during the coaching times when they would tell me, if I do this, Payal, do you think my team will like me? And I always tell them, you're not here to be liked or not liked. You are here to do the correct thing for your team, and you are here to put the organization to its next level. And I like now I understand why they have termed you like this, and I think it's just so important. But you also mentioned, yeah, no, Aparna, you also mentioned, when you're at work, you're completely focused at your work. You're keeping your professional and your personal life separately. Uh, in any way, has your personal life been affected by your professional life and by the role that you are playing?
Yes, Payal, being human, having a family, living in the social world, um, it depends on you as an individual. Who are you giving priority?
Hmm.
Is it your work, because you have made that as your identity, or
Mhm.
is it your family?
Mhm.
Right? In today's world, we see the second one being more prominent.
Mhm.
In my times, I had seen some of the people really, really, giving family the priority. Somewhere, I think it was my choice where I took profession as the priority,
Mhm.
and that is something it was difficult to balance.
Mhm.
So now, what I mean by it is that, for example, my kids are sick and I have a delivery,
Mhm.
right? A commitment to the customer. So what should I do?
Mhm.
Should I stay put at home? Because you didn't have Zoom and everything at the point in
True.
time, right?
Yeah.
Or should you go and do it? So at
Mhm.
that point in time, there were two situations which happened. One, I had excellent team. They would say, you do your that bit. We will be completing this. After you settle down and you really want to come, then you come,
Mhm.
which means you have gained that trust, you have those allies, and you are like perfectly fine. So,
Mhm.
but you had that in mind, right? That I'm losing my work and I'm not there at my work, but I'm with my kids.
Right.
And the second part, which is there is, which affects you, is there are a lot of family functions, right, Pyle? And trust me, I have missed all of them.
Oh, I so resonate with you. Tell me about it. I don't know what social life I have completely missed out on, but I have no regrets towards it.
Yeah. So what has happened is that, like, once you start on your spiritual journey, sorry to bring that part in, you realize it doesn't matter. But at that point in time, you see people all, enjoying, having fun,
Yeah.
all dressed up and meeting and this, and then you feel, oh, really? Okay, fine. Okay, I'm working. So you try to justify your position. So it has
Yeah.
it has affected in all ways. I had to leave my kids for 6 weeks because one of my customer wanted me to travel, and they were just 4 years old,
Mhm.
and that was a tormenting time. And then I had to put my kids to daycare because my support staff had just vanished.
Mhm.
So yeah, a lot of compromises. A
True,
lot of
Aparna.
compromises.
I cannot emphasize this enough. I can resonate with what you said so closely. My work is a lot about travel because of the executive coachings, and sometimes it's for the books or it is for the workshops. And having two kids of my own, and of course they are grown now. But in those days, I remember, having to leave them when they were not well or sick. And there was a lot of support, and still is, from my husband, who would always, because he knows work is my priority, and he's
Yeah.
always supporting, he's always at the back, always doing things when I'm out of the house. And when you mentioned about the social life, I'm telling you, I could resonate so closely, because I've missed out on a lot of, not just friends, but even family events, because
Yeah.
like you said, once you have kept your priority, then I think
Yeah.
the other things automatically internalize, and you understand where you are heading to and what is important for you in your life. and then you don't regret about it. So I so resonate. I'm so glad you brought this up for our listeners. Um,
Yeah,
diving
because
into
that ambition which you had to just work, getting transformed into aspiration, I think that is the trick. So you just want to work, so you want to do both the you are working also and you are
yeah,
taking care of family, so you're fine. But
yeah,
can you be aspirational as well as become a perfect in personal life?
exactly.
I'll be very happy to meet someone
Oh
like
yes.
that, because it's humanly not possible.
Not possible, absolutely. And again, that's again where you speak about boundary. You know your boundaries. There are some
Yeah,
things you really cannot allow others to say and
yeah,
pull you in all directions, even in your personal life.
yeah. Yes.
So well put, Aparna. Getting into the core of our topic,
Yes.
how have you been taking your people along? Just as a leader,
So
let's take with the corporate side, the
yeah,
professional side. How have you been taking your people
yeah,
along?
yeah. So to be very honest, again, that has been a journey, Payal,
Mhm,
because initially in the software industry, what happens is you grow from various stages and then become a team leader, and then whatever the other
mhm,
hierarchy or the roles are. So you are never taught how to deal with people, right? So the first principle that you follow or you see is how you were being treated by your supervisors,
mhm,
right? So there's a mix and match. You will try to do whatever you felt as an employee. You didn't want your supervisors to do it,
mhm,
but you wanted some part of it to be there, so that you see that the achievement of that individual is because of these traits. Now those traits are good, bad, ugly, I'm not getting to that.
mhm,
So my initial stage was very aggressive to not always meet the commitment, come
mhm,
what may. So in our Vedas, they say, right, Sam Dam Dand Bhed. You use everything to just ensure that customer commitment is met. So
mhm,
that point in time, I was a very very aggressive leader, and people at times would not like me. I'm very honest.
mhm,
That how could she just force, because it's like difficult to do it, and she's just saying to do it, but we will do it. Okay. Then slowly over a period of time I understood, because kids were at home, and you try to also mature, because there's a maturity level which comes into the picture, how to deal with people.
mhm,
And there it slowly started, I started looking at it more very compassionately and empathetically, that there is something which as a human being exists. It's not about these 12 hours alone, there is another 12 hours, and every individual has challenge in their life. So I used to then give them space. Okay. I used to give them a lot the larger objective, that guys, this is what we are trying to do. Okay.
mhm,
Let's Earlier it was how we should do it, so that we are first time right, I would still participate. But after that, slowly I backed out, because I wanted to groom them, to
mhm,
make them learn how to take decisions.
mhm,
It's okay to take wrong decisions, because I will take accountability. Okay. But I used to give them that freedom to go through that rigmarole and learn how to make right decisions, so that your organization is never put to risk.
mhm,
And for that, you need that bigger picture. You need to keep end in mind, and then you have to make them move towards the thought leadership,
mhm,
where
mhm,
you alone don't exist in the entire scheme of things. You have five other stakeholders or people whom you have to take along.
mhm,
So, and that is something which takes a lot of time for most of us to understand. So it was not just about the technical capabilities, which was important for me, for my people. It was also about what is the difference between a manager and a leader.
mhm,
It was very important for people to understand that you can manage. There's no part, but do you see yourself as a leader? Because leader will be a very very different ball game. The
mhm,
horizon of that leadership is so huge and vast, that management is only just a part of it. So that was
Mhm.
second thing where the grooming started, with compassion, with empathy. In a meeting, if you have a call from home, you have to leave everything and pick up the call.
Right.
Okay, come what may,
Mm.
come what may. Okay, so something, those small things which I started understanding, I started sharing, and people then used to give a lot of respect to that.
Mhm.
And then also I started making people participate and make them part of the problem.
Okay.
So earlier the thought process is like, I can do everything under the sun.
Mm.
I have all the capabilities, and it's like, because why? Because I'm the supervisor. I have to know all, right?
Mm.
And slowly, when the second point which I mentioned, you start understanding people a lot more. You say, okay, we have a lot of brains in the team. Let's all collectively, together come together and give some options for this solution. So what happened was it became more participative.
Okay.
It was not supervisor versus a team member. It
Mm.
was about, we are a team.
Mm.
Okay. When there is a problem, we are a team. When we are celebrating, we are a team. When
Team.
we fail, we are a team. So
Yeah.
that concept of making them including into decision making also helped in grooming them to become a leader.
Mhm. Okay.
And they understood that the problem, it is okay to say that I need to have some support, because I think it is important that all of us collectively come up with options.
Mm.
So a lot of this mix and match had happened over the time. A lot of freedom given to the two people, to go ahead and do things which they felt right,
Mm.
without compromising the organization or institutions or putting it on in risk, and
Mm.
never failing customers. So certain things were non-negotiable, but certain things slowly started. So if I can say no micromanagement,
Mm.
probably that was the idea, because you are dealing with people who are genuinely brilliant and intelligent,
Mm.
and really have you can groom them to have those skills of not just thought leadership or problem solving, but actually making them a very empathetic leader. From a manager to a leader, how you transform, I
Mhm.
think that journey, most of us, in our time, we never had that. But I think for past, I'm seeing it a decade and a half, that people are really, really focusing. And I think you will resonate it, because you yourself are a coach. You realize it,
Right.
what is a manager and what does a
Oh,
leader
yes.
mean. So
Big time.
that has been some of the on-the-job learning, yeah, Payal, which I, did that with the people.
But it's amazing to see how you have been learning on the job, just failing and succeeding again and again, failing and succeeding. So you've been able to change your moves and your strategies so well along the way. And you also spoke about building the trust in the team, and you took those steps. Now, when you build trust in the team, you're also, like you said, you started giving them space. You started to, delegate more and give them more work to do. Uh, how committed is the team usually? So when, a lot of leaders, what happens is they are afraid to delegate or to give space to the team or even give more work to the team because they feel they will not be committed to accomplish it or to complete that project. So how did you gain the commitment from your team that, hey, guys, if this is the work project, I'm giving this to you. This is the commitment I look for you from you, and this is the deadlines we need to complete on. How did you gain that commitment and take that forward?
So before I answer that, there was a concept for past few years, the servant leadership has come in, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Where you want to serve people. I was not very fond of that in the initial years.
Uh-huh.
I said, what do you mean by servant? We are any which ways giving people commitment, this, that. But when I went deep inside it, I realized that it's such a beautiful statement. These two words are so powerful,
Mhm.
that when you actually do it, and why I'm mentioning it before answering your question, because when you start doing it,
Mhm.
okay, you are in that space of servant leadership, Payal. whatever you have asked me will happen, because they know that I am there for them.
Uh-huh.
They know that they are there for me. So that trust and that bond is so strong because we have a single objective. Okay, single objective, to do what is best for the institution and never ever disappoint the customer, right? And in that is a hidden agenda that you are personally also learning yourself, right? So when I delegate it, right, I have given them the freedom. You can use me as a sounding board, but I also give them my thoughts. It's not that I don't give. I tell them this is what is my idea. This is what I'm also thinking. So go back, think through what you want to do, and if that is the way. And then when we discuss and we collaborate with each other, actually, if you ask me, and whose idea is the best, just gets picked up. After that, there is no confusion, right? It is you versus me. There is no you versus me here. There's single agenda, single objective. The purpose of this work is organization. So both of us are giving our best, and whichever is the best one is what is happening. Second is, you have already given them the confidence that you are with them.
True.
Right? So that gives a lot of freedom.
Aparna, yeah. I don't want to cut you, but I want to ask you something here, because like you said that, professionally, you're taking the team in a certain direction and you're making them, aware and giving them the thing. But a lot of leaders I hear, they say that, to keep up with the team, to keep the team happy, to keep them connected and committed, we need to spend a lot of time with them, even outside of the workplace. How true is that, or how have you worked or navigated through that?
So Payal, I have always shared my personal challenges, if I have, with them very openly. Like I told you earlier, right? My sons are unwell, or I have some issue back home, or as simple as that my support staff has not come. Okay, so I'm running late, or I'll be doing something. For me, those conversations were a lot more important than just going out for. I'm a teetotaler, so going out and just having a dinner or enjoying. That doesn't mean that we haven't done that or we didn't like doing it. But I think this communication of transparency, where you become a bit vulnerable, and you are also insecure because you become vulnerable to them, that I also have a problem, right?
Very
and
true.
I'm not able to deal with it, or I'm struggling to deal with it. So
very true.
Yeah, I'm saying that's it. So I need you, and
then they stay more committed because they know that you are looking forward, they're trusting them, and you're handing the stuff to them.
Yes.
That's so wonderfully put, because a lot of us, we battle, I've had a lot of leaders battle with this, whether regardless of the gender, where they would feel that, I need to take my teams out for offsites or whatever. But at the same time, the fact that, you're putting on the table is, even my everyday life, I'm sharing stuff with them, I'm hearing about their problems. I think that plays a more important role than once in a year offsites, or meeting them over dinner or over a glass of beer or something. And I think this, what you brought forth, is such an important aspect of leadership, that every single day your conversations with them build that trust, which leads to a commitment for them doing what you want. So wonderfully put, Aparna.
Yeah, but I'll give you examples, maybe a couple of them, and you would really love hearing it. So a long time back, we were doing a very large program, and I had a huge team. And as I told you, we used to work at times for 15 days continuously, till long hours. So some of the team members, those are young guys at that time, they were dating and all, right? And I will see some of those guys on Sunday, sulking and and the moment they'll see me, they'll be back to work. But I used to understand something is not right. But how I could understand is because they even shared with me that they have a girlfriend.
Okay.
Okay. And then we used to tease them, because at times you have to laugh at yourself, right? And say, otherwise, how you will enjoy that period. And so we'll start teasing them. I said, okay, really? Like today, Sunday, I know some plan must have been made. What should we do? And what do you guys think? Even I have to go and see a movie. So something like that will start. And then what we will do is we'll make him that, okay, guy, we understand. You just show up. We'll manage. And then you pitch in, whenever you are back tomorrow. So, and there have been instances where they have been sharing a lot of the personal stuff with me, because the trust is, this is not going to go out. She is not going to use it for her advantage at any point in time. Yeah. So as a leader, I have gone through that phase also, and have enjoyed it thoroughly. Thoroughly. I have also got people at home. I used to get them at home to have meet my family. Generally, have food at home, because those young guys, and some of them staying not with their parents and all. So
that's so wonderful.
those things
you don't have
done.
a barrier between you and them.
No,
that's so good, because a lot of us have barriers. That we need to invite only the executives to our home, but you have opened your doors, your heart, your mind to everyone around you, and I think that's a wonderful concept to have as a leader.
Yeah, without compromising the work. Right?
Yeah.
So I may have whatever rapport. Yes.
Yeah. I think that's wonderful.
And that bond is still there for decades. That's lovely.
Come again on that one.
That bond with those people are still there. It may not be in hundreds, but they are all there. It's amazing.
That's so wonderful. A lot of us don't open up, our thoughts and our homes to everybody, and a lot of us do not accept others' thoughts, and especially the thoughts of the young blood who is entering into the markets, into our workforce. There is so much of difference between their thoughts and ours, and I think you wonderfully shared that. The conversations that I'm having with you, Aparna, could go on for hours together. It's so wonderful. But before we get into our leadership rapid fire segment, I want you to just mention at least one piece of advice, a big advice with which our listeners could walk away and they could be successful and lead with impact. What would be your advice?
Be true to yourself. Never lose that. Never lose your passion. Just be true to yourself. Don't lose that at any point in time, for whatever reason. Just be there. Rest will fall in place.
That's so lovely. Aparna, let's move on to the leadership rapid fire round. This is where I will ask you a question, and whatever answer comes to your mind, at top of your mind, in a word or in just one sentence, that's the true Aparna then.
Okay.
So, are you ready for that? Okay, great.
Yes.
The biggest leadership myth you've ever heard?
Management and leadership are the same.
Okay. Now, and before that, you had also touched upon it, manager and leader, and I think that was great. One thing that motivates Aparna to get out of bed in the morning every single day.
It's a new, beautiful day. I'm still alive. Let me go and do the thing which I want to. So I have one more day to live.
That being alive is so important.
Sure.
Yeah. Your favorite part of being a leader?
Favorite part of being a leader? To actually share your thoughts. I think because normally we don't speak up, right? So I think that is something which I feel is very important. So speak up is something which I really believe in.
And I learned from you in this that you're really, really awesome at it, because you've been able to share your thoughts so well with everyone. Which superpower would you choose? Invisibility or mind reading?
Invisibility.
Okay, and I want to ask why.
I knew it was coming. See, it has a mysterious thing around it, right? Invisibility has a mysterious thing, and you don't know, so it could surprise you
Mm.
a lot. Mind reading, yeah, of course that also surprises
But
you, but
I thought you
in
would
with
choose. I thought you would choose
I know,
invisibility. Invisibility. Why?
I know.
Because because you're so well connected with your team, you really don't want to mind read anyone. They're
No,
already telling you. You're already speaking out to them. So I had a
yes,
feeling to take that.
yes. I
Wow.
didn't know I'm so open, being read by you even over a virtual session.
I'm an executive coach, right? So I can read it.
I get it. I get
But you are so well connected with your teams, I must say that. Your biggest leadership
it.
challenge.
To pick up the battles that you have to fight, because that is something which really at times I I I think I fail probably, um, because for me everything is I'm so passionate about, so that picking up which one to go and hit for it, for me everything I should fight for it, and I think that is something which is a big
Uh,
challenge. I'm
yeah.
still learning.
And last one, if you could travel back in time and change one thing about the corporate world, what would that be for you?
I think if people trust people more, and trust them that they are there for them.
Mhm.
Let's not play around with people for whatever reason.
Mm.
So please trust them. Just trust them. Uh, Give them that empowerment at every stage. Okay, and believe in them and support them, and you will see people will do wonders.
Wow, that was lovely, Aparna. I'll tell you that entire conversations that I have been having with you, there have been moments where, it has touched my heart and it has resonated so closely, which I very, openly shared it and honestly shared it here. And there's been tears of laughter that I had with you, where I was like, oh my goodness, this is so wonderful. Everything just seems so closely resonating with her. And I'm so glad that you've been a part of this podcast. I know your time and I know your schedule is so tight being the role that you are playing as a CIO, but heartfelt gratitude that you took the time to come here, speak up your mind, share your insights for others to grow and realize what it really means to take people along. So thank you so much.
While I really appreciate it, thank you so much for your kind words. And as you very rightly said, I hope some people can pick up something which would help them to have a very happy, peaceful, successful corporate life to achieve their
Sure.
ambitions. So really appreciate it, and your questions were wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
Specifically the fire round. Oh my God!
Yeah, see, we leaders also need to have a fire round, right?
Yeah, yeah. We
So,
are
so
always on the fire.
yes, exactly. We're already doing that as it is. So it's really a blessing to have had you
Thank
here.
you.
And this
Thank you.
one's for our listeners. This is Aparna Kumar and Payal Nanjiani wishing you loads of success in your career life. May God bless you.